From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for The Debate.
Good evening and welcome, friends. The opposition has done it again. Ruckus and suspensions trigger another washout session. But the parliament must work. Why should taxpayers suffer? That's debate one.
Arnab will be joining us back on the debate soon, in a few days from now. We come to you with three debates tonight, and here they are. Three big debates tonight on what happened in Parliament. 23 parliamentarians have been suspended. 23 of them have been suspended. 4 yesterday, 19 today. That's debate number one. At 10 p.m., the cash diaries to a black diary, to an envelope with the Government of Bengal insignia, to school links in West Midinipur. Republic breaking open the Bengal cash scam. And at 10:30 p.m., the opposition's vice presidential candidate falls victim to cyber fraud that the Delhi police had flagged off, but then claims it's actually snooping, which wasn't. We'll tell you all about that at 10:30. Here are the headlines.
This is too much. This is too much. Who has done it? This is too much. Who has done it?
Ruckus, chaos and pandemonium in monsoon session of the parliament. 23 MPs suspended for unruly behaviour.
Please go back to your seat. Please go back to it. I'm waiting for few minutes. If you go to your seats, I'm ready to give division.
That's how the opposition parliamentarians have once again resorted to disrupting the parliament session. 167 bills are pending, but chaos reigns supreme.
Sonia grilled for over 6 hours in the freedom struggle for profit scam. Summoned once again by Enforcement Directorate tomorrow.
Explosive cash scam diary recovered at Bengal Minister's aide's residence, Arpita's residence. Can the Trinamool Congress or its minister wash their hands off now?
Republic with the most explosive investigation in the Bengal cash scam. School raided by ED tracked down. More questions emerge on Partha's side. Roll.
Vice presidential candidate for the opposition Margaret Alva falls victim to a cyber fraud but goes on to blame the BJP, calls it snooping, backfires.
Of the last 7 days, Lok Sabha has run for just about 5 hours and Rajya Sabha for 9. They say they are raising people's issues, but they caused a storm in the parliament. That's opposition. They raise slogans, they fly planes, and they distract from the parliamentary agenda. It is the ultimate insult to our temple of democracy. So it is shocking when 19 MPs are suspended for the chaos they caused? They play the victim card.
Now, nothing that some of the opposition parliamentarians and parties are doing is adding up. Now, taxpayer money that funds the parliament sessions is going down the drain. Crucial bills, nearly 160 of them that must be passed, are gathering dust. Key debates being avoided. Take a look at how it's going now and why Parliament must work immediately.
The monsoon session was dominated by ruckus. Papers thrown at the chair, placards and slogans at the well. The ruckus has ensured minimal productivity, and so 19 MPs were suspended. This comes after 4 MPs were suspended in the Lok Sabha. The opposition is now saying they were doing their duty.
पर ये दुख है कि सरकार ने और चेयर की तरफ से हमें महंगाई पर और जीएसटी पर बोलने का मौका नहीं दिया.
They are claiming that democracy has been suspended.
Modi and Shah have suspended democracy. What are you talking about MPs?
They have tried to raise the issues of price rise, the GST, unemployment. Those issues are the country's issues.
क्योंकि ये तो मनमानी हो रही है. अगर कोई शब्दों का चयन होता है तो उसको अनपार्लियामेंट्री कह देंगे. अगर हम आवाज उठाते हैं जनता की तो आप उसको सस्पेंड कर देंगे. ये दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है. ये चाहते ही नहीं. एक प्रजातंत्र के उसूलों में विश्वास नहीं रखने वाले लोग हैं, ना संवैधानिक तौर तरीकों पे.
But if the concern was democracy, why were Congress MPs on the street causing a ruckus instead of raising issues in the House?
Well, with 4 MPs of the Congress party suspended yesterday from Lok Sabha, today 19 MPs were suspended for a time frame of 7 days, belonging to TRS, to TMC, DMK. But then as soon as the opposition MPs came out, they started blaming the BJP, forgetting that this is not for the first time. Ever since 1989, yes, when late Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister and Balram Jakhar was the Speaker, 63 MPs were suspended by the then Congress government.
The BJP is questioning the opposition's behavior.
The chair made many appeals that they may allow the smooth functioning of the House, particularly since the government has repeatedly stated, both in the House and outside the House, that we are ready for discussion on any issue, including price rise. And we have agreed for the demand that it should be done at the earliest.
Is there a deliberate attempt to put a speed breaker on our temple of democracy? It is time for our members of parliament to get to work. Let's debate.
Joining us on the debate this evening are Gaurav Bhatia, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Senior Advocate Supreme Court, Kovai Satyan, Spokesperson of the AIADMK, Pratik Som, National Spokesperson of the JJP, Saket Gokhale, Spokesman of the TMC, Ghanshyam Tiwari, National Spokesperson, Samajwadi Party, and Shanmugam. Mr. Shanmugam is a parliamentarian from the Rajya Sabha, from the DMK, has been suspended. Ravula Sridhar Reddy, leader of the TRS, and Dinesh Varshni of the CPI complete the panel. Let me start with Mr. Shanmugam. Mr. Shanmugam, is it true that you two have been suspended, sir? Why have you been suspended? Sir, good evening. Why have you been suspended, sir? Did you also behave in a bad manner, as what the chair claims?
Sir, as parliamentarian,
sir,
we are for here. We are for here to raise the issue of the public matters. When we raise the matters for discussion, some important issue of the public, that is the price rise and other GST matters, we are pressurizing the government and the chairman so many times, but they never bothered about, and they always, whenever our leaders are giving the 267 notice,
right,
they rejected the notice, which is undemocratic.
Sir,
so that only we have to agitate.
Sir, are you suggesting...
We have to agitate.
Sir, are you suggesting that the government is not agreeing to the debate, or is it the issue about timing? You want it immediately and the government says wait for the finance minister, because ultimately, remember, on the issue of price rise or the issue of GST that you mentioned, on both the debates, on both the subjects, the answer has to come from the finance minister, and you know that she is suffering from COVID. She can't be in the parliament.
Yes. We also know, but it is a duty of the chairman call all the leaders and convince them finance minister is not able to come and give the reply, and they have to fix the time for the discussion by which we can also postpone this agitation. That is not happened there.
Sir, that has been discussed in the Business Advisory Council meeting, Business Advisory Committee meeting. That has been discussed. The government said that they are absolutely ready for the debate. That's what the Parliamentary Affairs Minister also said, that they are absolutely willing and ready for the debate, just waiting for the Finance Minister to come.
No, they are saying they are ready. When they are ready? They have to fix the time. That is that.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, the time of the debate is incumbent upon the Finance Minister coming back and joining work after COVID. And you know how COVID pans out. I have had my share of COVID. You would have had yours in the last 3 years. Can't we give that breathing space to the government? Yes. In the larger interest, remember, I would like to tell you, sir, that today was the 7th day that Parliament did not function properly. Among one of the issues that was missed was a 0-hour question on inflation. It could not be picked up. The same issue of price rise or inflation could have been picked up in the 0-hour also, which got washed away.
Good evening, Abhishek and Niranjan, and good evening to all the co-panelists as well as the viewers. 3 or 4 things stand out. One, that intent of the government. If you look at the 16th Lok Sabha, the Parliament met for 331 days. How many Sundays are there in 5 years? Calculate that and then imagine the Parliament under BJP's full majority met for only 331 days. Intent of the government. Last 40 years, I asked the BJP panelists in another debate, I'll ask again, tell me the name of the Prime Minister who attended the Parliament least number of times in the last 40 years. Probably in the name of the BJP Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji would pop up. But probably BJP spokesperson will not answer the question. Third, what we did notice that this government spoke about unemployment in the Parliament. It says that the unemployment among women in India is around 3.5% and among men is around 4.5%. Just imagine, this government looks at unemployment like this, eyes closed, ears closed, where they are saying that 1 in 25 youth in this country are unemployed and 1 in 30 women in this country are unemployed. This is the government that wants to use Parliament for its propaganda, which opposition is not allowing. And the Prime Minister who does not believe in Parliament shows in his attendance. A government that does not believe in Parliament shows in the number of sittings that they convene, or the number of bills that are brought to standing committee, or the number of ordinances that is passed. Last monsoon session, 20 bills were passed without debate. The headlines thereafter, the next session, spoke about how 10 bills were passed. This government creates every session, they create a new record of the number of bills that they want to be passed without the debate. Parliament is not a platform for BJP to say Modi ji Bhagwan hai. It's a platform where the people of India want to answer from this government. Why have they pushed the country into unemployment? Why have they pushed the country into this price rise?
Ghanshyam, if you said 1 in 30 women is unemployed, that's not a very big number, by the way. But I'll let Gaurav Bhatia take on you and answer all the questions, the litany of questions that we have raised. Gaurav Bhatia, would you like to respond to Ghanshyam?
Yes, absolutely. I will respond to whatever allegations he's making. But first of all, let us understand the meaning of the Parliament. Parliament is a symbol of our democracy. It is the temple of democracy. And nobody would disagree that you might have differences. But you have to raise issues adhering to the decorum that is expected out of a member of Parliament. MPs who've been suspended, I would like to remind Dola Sen, for example's sake. She was suspended earlier also last year. And do you know why? She was actually physically assaulting a female marshal. So no dignity for the female marshal, member of Parliament from the Aam Aadmi Party, from the Congress, from the TMC, from Samajwadi Party, believe in unruly behavior like throwing the book at the chair. If they violate the law, the chair is well within its power to take appropriate action, and that is what they've done. Because people of the country want to see meaningful discussions, not unruly behavior. Now coming to the point that was raised about Prime Minister's attendance. Prime Minister enjoys the confidence of the people of the country. We have seen that. And he has other matters also urgent in nature to attend. But I would like to place the numbers of Mr. Akhilesh Yadav. The point that SP spokesperson made was that the parliament is only functioning for very few days. Imagine if it was functioning for more number of days, what would happen? Because Akhilesh Yadav in the 17th Lok Sabha, his parliamentary performance attendance is only 34%. The national average is 80% and the state average is 87%. Second, Akhilesh Yadav lost his election from Azamgarh. There was a by-poll and Samajwadi Party lost that election. So what does it reflect? You are not in tune with the sentiments of the people. And he raised 2 points. He spoke about the unemployment rate. I must tell him that even when other so-called developed economies are facing challenges, India is doing much better in the times of COVID pandemic as well as Russia and Ukraine war that is going on. And these are the numbers for you which will never be questioned by SP. In Rajasthan, the unemployment rate is 29.8%, Jharkhand 12.2%. And what about BJP ruled? When SP government was in power, the unemployment rate was 17%. But in Uttar Pradesh, it is 2.8%. Just a sec. Let me complete my point, please. Thank you. Madhya Pradesh, it is 0.5%. Gujarat, it is 3%.
I know.
So this is one question that I've answered. There are 2 more data.
Later. Keep it for later.
During
keep it for later. Keep it for later, Gaurav Bhatia, because I want to bring in the Trinamool Congress. I know you're raising your hand there. Ghanshyam, you can respond to him later. Just hold on to your response, okay? But I want to ask. There's a visual that we had today, and I'd like to play that visual out, and then ask. I'll take that to the Trinamool Congress. Let's play the picture where the paper was thrown in the chair. Now, a Trinamool Congress parliamentarian was live on Republic earlier this evening. Shushmita Dev was live. Let's show the pictures, full frame of the papers being thrown at the chair. Papers were flung. Now, tell me, Saket, you see that footage on your screen right now where Bhuvaneswar Kalita was presiding in the chair. He was making repeated pleas to the opposition MPs to return to their seats, maintain order, and yet papers were flung towards him. And when papers are flung, can discussions be held, and should MPs not face suspension? The Trinamool Congress responding on the debate, and the AIADMK can then come in.
Hi, so first of all, there is visuals of papers landing. You can't pin it on the Trinamool Congress saying one of our MPs has thrown those papers, number one. Number two, talking about suspensions, let me jog back everybody's memory a little bit. In the winter session, the last winter session, 12 MPs were suspended allegedly for something that they did in the monsoon session. In the last budget session, the one that happened before this, price rise has been an issue for over a year now. In the budget session, the government promised discussion on price rise. Discussion did not happen. This time they're using the excuse of the finance minister having COVID. But we have routinely seen with this government that today when opposition raises a certain question, let's say about petroleum ministry, the women and child minister will come and hold a press conference and respond to it. So in this government, there are a lot of ministers who come and hold press conferences about topics that don't pertain to their portfolio. Besides, who is the head of the government? It's the Prime Minister of India. Do you know how many questions the Prime Minister of India has answered in the last 8 years? 0. I mean, yes, the BJP spokesperson might say that the Prime Minister, on one side they say Parliament is a temple of democracy, but then they say that the Prime Minister has more pressing issues than attending the temple of democracy. Just shows how much he values democracy in the first place. But the Prime Minister has not answered a single question. Fine, the Finance Minister has COVID. Why can the Prime Minister not come? At the end of the day, the buck stops at the office of the Prime Minister. Why can't the Prime Minister come into Parliament and answer these questions? And another point I wish to add here is that, look, let me remind you, when we talk about washout sessions, this and that, first of all, who gets benefited when the House is disrupted? It is the government. The government takes an average total of 9 minutes to pass a bill.
Saket,
during the farm laws, we saw that.
Are you suggesting the TMC MPs were helping the government by causing that disruption?
you can't interrupt me while I'm speaking. I mean,
I'm
that's
asking
really
a
just
question, Saket. As a moderator, I'm asking a question. You said that disruptions help the government. Are you suggesting that the 19 MPs were helping the government?
No, the government does not want to do a discussion on price rise. The government wants... Look,
then the best way to corner the government would be to let the house be in order and let the issues come up. Why disrupt and give the government an opportunity to suspend the MP and hence have the opposition out of the house?
Let me bring to you, sir, basics of civics, which is taught in 7th standard. Every person sitting in the parliament, be it from the BJP or any other party, is a representative of the people. There is nobody sitting in the Lok Sabha who has not been voted to by people, you know. So to assume that only the BJP enjoys popular support and the others have just landed up in parliament, that's not how it works. All of them are people representing a constituency of a few lakh people. At the end of the day, it is their job. If price rise is an issue that their people, that their constituents are telling them is an issue affecting them, it is their job to bring it up in parliament. The question is, why is the government so scared? In the last session, they're scared. In this session, they're scared. They want to take 9 minutes to pass a bill. Why are they suspending members? They're suspending members because they can ram through bills to parliament.
No, Saket, you digressed and deflected. I was asking, are you by disruptions helping the government? In fact, I was helping your cause. I was saying, if you left the house in order, the government perforce would have to bring in the legislative agenda and then you can corner the government. But the points you have raised,
Rule 267, sorry, please watch the parliament proceedings. We proposed a motion under Rule 267, they denied it.
They have not. It's just that they have not fixed the date. Saket, please don't play around with words. We have the Parliamentary Affairs Minister. We have the leader of the government in the Rajya Sabha, Piyush Goyal. Before that, Prahlad Joshi. They have said there is no question of not having a debate. It's just a matter of time. I think, as Mr. Shanmugam said, an assurance has to come, and let Gaurav Bhatia respond. Gaurav Bhatia, why is your government not giving an assurance to the opposition with a particular date and time that this debate would be held?
During the budget session, did the finance minister have COVID during the budget session? Why was price rise not discussed during the budget session?
Gaurav Bhatia, please respond.
I respond now.
Gaurav Bhatia, please
My
respond.
friend should be patient to hear to the response. Yes. So first of all, you know, it has been raised again and again, the Prime Minister not responding to the questions asked. The Prime Minister has full faith in the Minister concerned, and the Minister concerned are answering the questions. But regarding responding to the charges made by the opposition, on the floor of the House, there have been umpteen number of incidents when the Prime Minister was responding and the opposition was shouting slogans, showing disrespect to the chair of the Prime Minister and not even listening to him. So what kind of behavior is that? Second, the productivity under the current government, I must give the numbers. Under the Congress winter session of 2010, the productivity was 0. In 2012 winter session, it was 0. But budget session of 2021, the productivity was 105%. And more than 100% productivity has been achieved even in subsequent sessions of the parliament. Third, the TMC, talking about people, Partha Chatterjee, 21 crore of ill-gotten wealth recovered. A dog he has a separate flat. These people want to talk about issues, people's issue. You don't even understand. And there is rampant corruption in West Bengal.
20 crores of cash found. Did your Prime Minister not do demonetization to get rid of cash?
Can you be courteous enough not to interrupt? Learn some manners of debating, sir.
You stick to the topic then.
I heard you.
You stick to the topic
at
hand.
And you must hear the other side also. This is
Learn to
again
speak
what
on
you
the topic
people
at
do
hand.
in the parliament. This is exactly what you do in the parliament. Niranjan, please ask this gentleman to be quiet.
Stick to the topic at hand.
Okay, just come back on the subject. Come back on the subject. Because, you know, we have... I can assure you we're debating Bengal at 10 o'clock, not right now. 10 o'clock is the Bengal debate. We'll stick to the parliament right now.
Yes.
I'll give you 20 seconds, Gaurav, and then I'll bring in the rest. Many of our panelists haven't spoken. Yeah.
No, I just need 1 minute, Niranjan. I request you to
30 seconds. Go ahead.
See, even on the television right now, we can debate. Yes, we'll debate the issues, and this is how the parliament can also function. they raised the issue of GST. And GST being implemented on food items. I want to tell you, I have in my hand a group of ministers, body that was constituted, and you know who's the member? Dr. Amit Mitra, Finance Minister of West Bengal, who was part of the committee who approved this tariff plan. Why didn't you oppose it there? You talk about price rise.
Here's the thing. That's
Please
why
do
you
not speak in
mislead
between.
people.
Please do not speak in between. Please do not speak in between. This is not done.
We really need to broaden this debate. There are some very important points that need to be discussed.
We have crossed that road on the GST. 1 minute.
Ask him to be quiet.
No, I'm saying that we've crossed that road. We've crossed that road on GST. We had a debate on the GST. Gaurav, we had a debate on GST last week.
The point that I'm trying to make is, all that I'm trying to say is that Parliament is sanctorum sanctorum. We have to respect the place. And the kind of unruly behavior, habitual offenders like Dola Sain trying to disrespect the chair is just not acceptable. And if they break the rules, they'll have to face the consequences.
Abhishek, you want to come?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Gaurav. You see, we have to broaden this debate. There are very important points that impinge upon how our democracy functions. Now, if Parliament abdicates its responsibility of legislation, and then if judiciary fills the vacuum, then why do we blame the judges? Dinesh Vashne, if I can take this question to you. If out of 7 days of the session, Lok Sabha functions for 5 hours, Rajya Sabha functions for 9 hours, and as our honorable member was saying, panelist was saying, that Parliament has in many cases passed bills with 1 day of debate. I'll come to that statistic, by the way, later. But who is to blame? The MPs, if they don't let the House in order, how would the legislative function happen? Dinesh Vashne.
Look, Abhishek and Niranjan, you should know one thing. I think people are forgetting the fact, especially the Gaurav Bhatia. 2012, 2013 and 14. 5 parliament sessions were not allowed by the BJP to function at all. They disrupted the overall sessions. 5 sessions were washed out. Ask Gaurav Bhatia. And that was not democracy. Democratic processes, the people are supposed to protest in the parliament on the people's issue. You mean to say we should not discuss the dahi, we should not discuss the doodh, we should not discuss the chawal, we should not discuss the paneer, cottage cheese, the price hike? People are suffering, people are losing their dietary balances. And this government is saying, rebdi baat rahe ho. You have distributed a rebdi of 4 lakh, 58 lakh crores to the monopolies, your friend monopolies, and you're talking that you should not speak in the parliament. Where should we speak? If the opposition is not will not speak on the people's issue in the parliament, then who will speak? You said your finance minister is ill because of COVID. She should take rest. But Prime Minister is the head of the cabinet. He should come to the parliament and let there is a debate on the price rise and GST on the food items.
Dinesh Vashne.
Why are you making fool? Prime Minister is not the head of the cabinet.
Dinesh Vashne.
Number three. If the people of the opposition MPs are duty bound to raise the people's issue, and
but
if they will not raise it, they are
there has to be some process. And nobody is denying the right of the opposition to raise issues, Dinesh Vashne. You are saying that the BJP did it in 2012, 2013. Then someone would say Rajiv Gandhi did it. Then someone would say Indira Gandhi suspended Raj Narayan. Dinesh Vashne, just hold on. Dinesh Vashne, just hold on. You see, this can't be an unending argument that the opposition now is doing it because the BJP did it in 2012. The BJP did it because Rajiv Gandhi suspended 63 MPs in 1989, or for that matter, Indira Gandhi suspended Raj Narayan 4 times. I think at some stage, you have to decide that legislative agenda of Parliament is of utmost importance and integral to the governance issues which can control price rise.
No agenda is more important than the people of India. No agenda is more important
people's
than
concerns
the
are
Let
real.
people listen to their honorable members have a constructive debate.
No agenda is more important
Not
than
throw papers and fly planes inside
No, I agree. I agree.
That's what you do in class 7.
Mr. Varshney.
Don't give us the wrong
No, Mr. Varshney, we agree with you. Let me tell you, sir, last week, Mr. Varshney. No.
And the UP, and you will find thousands of the youth are unemployment.
Sir, I agree with you. Sir, citizens' concerns are real. Sir, concerns are real. Nobody's saying no. But the manner in which you're doing it, let me get in the JJP spokesperson, Pratik wanted to respond.
Then
Pratik coming in.
Tell me, Niranjan.
Sir, you saw the pictures. Sir, you saw the pictures. Sir, you saw the pictures, these placards being held up. You saw the pictures of the placards and papers being thrown.
Earlier session.
Okay, let Pratik is responding to you, sir. Sir, Pratik responding to you.
They will not discuss it. Why Prime Minister can't function as a finance minister?
All right.
But she's got COVID, sir. You want her to come on video conference.
5 lakh rupees per minute of taxpayers' money. 2.5 lakh rupees of taxpayers' money per minute is being spent for running a parliament. Have they forgotten how Sushma Swaraj, Arun Jaitley used to do debates when they were in opposition? Even as a matter of fact, when Dushyant Chautala was a member of parliament and he was in opposition, do you remember he protested against the government for commercializing the tractor? He presented the facts. He gave a debate. He got into the members of the government into the debate and got that denotified. This is the way how a parliament should function. When you have a singular agenda to create a ruckus, to demean the chair, to throw papers on the speaker's chair, the consequence is suspension only. Opposition wants that judiciary should function, executive should function, bureaucracy should function. Then why should not a parliament should function?
Right.
There are times we all know, even a kid can see on YouTube how Sushma Swaraj and Arun Jaitley, when they were opposition leaders, used to debate on the floor of the house and got the opposition voice, and whole world used to see. Now they are. I remember in the last session, opposition member of parliaments were dancing on the table. I don't know. I just want to check. I want to check with the TRS spokesperson. Sir, I want to check with you. Have you heard, there are at least 3 or 4 sound bites on record, because, we spend our days in the newsroom. So when a sound bite comes in, we play it out. Then, we take the news point out of it and put it on the screen for the viewers. At least 3 or 4 sound bites in the last 2 days where ministers have come on record. For example, I can tell you today, Piyush Goyal has said, as soon as the finance minister comes back to parliament, we will schedule the discussion for price rise. Now, if he has said it on record, if ministers have said it on record, including yesterday, when I think Prahlad Joshi also made it clear that the discussion will happen, can I ask you, Mr. Reddy, why can't your MPs also understand that? Because they too have been suspended, if I'm not wrong. Am I right? Even your MPs have been suspended.
Yeah, they got suspended.
Yeah. So why can't they just wait? Why can't they be patient for a day, perhaps a day or two?
Well, first, the government is showing its weaker side by suspending the opposition members. What are they asking for? What are they asking for? They're asking for an answer from the government on the price rise and the inflation and the brutal GST tax that you are imposed today on the essential food items. Are you not responsible enough to answer that? I'm surprised by seeing the Piyush Goyal statement that you have to wait for Nirmala Sitharamanji. Were there instances in the past? Were not there? Where the senior ministers of other portfolios have come and answered in the parliament if the concerned minister is not present? Can't the junior minister of the finance ministry can come forward and answer on behalf of the government? Are they incapable? Or the prime minister of the country can come up and answer the parliament? A government which talks about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, what will be more important than the common man issues? What are we asking for?
Oh, Mr. Reddy.
Today you impose tax on essential food items and you run away from the responsibility of answering the parliament.
There are some parties.
You are supporting BJP.
Sir, I'm not supporting the BJP will speak for itself. No, I'm telling you about your argument. No, I'm talking to you about your TRS argument. Yeah, I'm talking about you, TRS argument. 1 minute.
No, we have very clearly stated that we have raised our concern.
No, 1 minute. No,
Today we are fighting
I am
in the
not even
parliament
talking
with
about
the
GST. I'm not talking about GST. That GST debate happened last week. I'm not talking about GST. I'm asking you about the comparison. Yeah, Gaurav Bhatia, before you come in. No, Kovai hasn't spoken. Tell me, you remember 2014? 2014, I'll tell you what happened on the 2014. 13th of February. The Lok Sabha Speaker was Meera Kumar, suspended 16 MPs for 5 days. And in this protest, there was L. Rajagopal. I think you know him, Mr. Reddy. He was an expelled Congress lawmaker. He used pepper spray. Remember, they used pepper spray in the parliament?
Yes.
A TDP member, Venugopala Reddy, had smashed a mic. And the suspended members back then had belonged to Congress, TDP and YSRCP. Okay? Now, if you look at the last two sessions, you spoke about this session and last two sessions about the suspensions. Tell me, some parties said we didn't throw paper at the chair because we respect the chair, but yes, we did slogan here, yes, we did disrupt, yes, we held placards. Now, there are different levels of disruption now that we see in Parliament, but you can't justify throwing rockets, throwing paper at the chair because people actually watch Parliament live. Channels like ours cut to Parliament live to tell our people, to tell the viewers what happens. Kovai, you come in. You heard what the TRS spokesperson said. You can respond to him.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to my fellow panelists. The nation also saw that none of the UP or his ally want to spend few seconds paying their respect to the soldiers on this Kargil Vijay Divas. So on behalf of my party and my leader, we pay our respects to those soldiers who laid their lives saving us on this Kargil Vijay Divas day. The question here is the Lakshman Rekha. The tables turn. The opposition become the ruling become the opposition. But who is breaching the Lakshman Rekha? Today, the conduct of UPA, Congress and its allies, breached the Lakshman Rekha and they want to dictate the terms to the House, stating that you conduct it as per our whims and fancies, to make our priority as your priority. But I take this opportunity to showcase the discrepancies, since there are two people, one from DMK and CPI, who are an ally together in Tamil Nadu. DMK is the ruling, the ally is CPI. Congress, 2 MPs were suspended in Lok Sabha. CPI has one representative. They talk about people issues on inflation and price hike. DMK had hiked the prices of ghee, the prices of butter, the electricity prices hiked. The gas subsidy of 100 rupees is still not delivered on their poll promises. Fuel prices and the reduction is not in tune with the hike that is happening. There is no message, there is no noise from Congress or its ally CPA here in this state, wherein they go to the center and they go to the well and they shout in unison as if they are the saviors of the people of the country.
GST money
Look at the discrepancy. Look at the discrepancy.
We will reduce
and
the
they don't make noise in the place where they are elevated.
Also, with the change of government, the prices of petrol and diesel came down in Maharashtra. But Ghanshyam, you are making a point that the parliament is meeting less, that less number of questions are being asked. Now, I'm giving you some statistics of 2021. Delhi Assembly sat for 8 days out of 365 days. Punjab Assembly sat for 11 days out of 365 days. Congress was ruling at that time. Maharashtra Assembly under the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi government sat for 15 days out of 365. West Bengal, Trinamool, 19 days. The national average is 24 days. Now, you are saying parliament is not sitting. Out of all the 28 state assemblies, whatever number of bills they passed, 44% were passed the same day that they were introduced without any debate. So I think it's a pan-assemblies phenomenon, Ghanshyam, where less and less debate is happening. And on top of it, if the opposition so chooses to disrupt every session like this, then where are we heading to so far as legislative agenda of the country is concerned? For God's sake, it's not BJP's agenda, it's for the country's agenda.
3 or 4 things. 11th April 2018, the headlines ran that AIDMK helps BJP to create ruckus in the parliament. This is a sitting government using an unnamed ally. This was the headline in every newspaper. AIDMK did not object to this headline. This is the nature of this government. Second, I think for Gaurav Bhatia, it is time to announce Achhe finally. He says that in Madhya Pradesh, the unemployment rate is 0.05% or 0.5%. In Uttar Pradesh, the unemployment rate is 2%. This is the reality of BJP propaganda. They believe that nearly 100% of people in Madhya Pradesh are employed. Nearly 98% of youth in Uttar Pradesh is employed. Do you know how many people applied to that railway Group D job from Uttar Pradesh that you never gave? 75 lakh people, for which those students protested. These people are living in a Modi dreamland where the common man does not matter. Here they say that GST. In the GST Council, do you know how many members are there? 33 members are there. How many of them come from BJP? It is a shame that a BJP spokesperson has to hide behind a letter and not represent the fact that they have substantive majority in the GST Council. My final point, this government does not want you to know that they are responsible for price rise. Mr. Modi promised 2 crore jobs. Mr. Modi promised black money will come. Mr. Modi promised no mehengai, no corruption. So why can't Mr. Modi answer? Why can't the Prime Minister stand like a Prime Minister in the Parliament and say that it's okay, it's all right that Nirmala Sitharamanji is not there? I am here to answer for mehengai. I am here to answer for unemployment. Has the Prime Minister lost the confidence? He doesn't face the press. Probably lacks the confidence. But has he lost the confidence?
Ghanshyam, provided you let the government to speak. You are not letting the government. If you don't let the house in order, how would the government respond? Also, remember, Ghanshyam, yesterday because of the Ruckus. Let me square it up with you. Let me before Gaurav Bhatia responds, let me give you just 2 facts. Yesterday, 4 MPs, honorable MPs, suspended in the Lok Sabha. You know what was missed yesterday in the Parliament that was to be debated? A calling attention motion on rising cases of post-COVID complications across populations in the country. Is it not an important issue? Today, 7th day of Parliament, and in the melee that was there, because of which House could not be in order, 0-hour question on inflation could not be discussed. Is inflation not price rise? Are you going to be so picky and choosy about just one word that you have picked up?
Then why this government is not calling a meeting of all political parties to settle these issues? The government is duty bound to satisfy the opposition parties in the all-party meeting. Okay, we'll discuss the price rise.
Somebody is acting in a civilized manner, he won't get time to respond. Please.
Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead. Yeah, what is it, Gaurav? Please respond. Who are you responding to, first of all?
Gaurav Bhatia, please don't teach the civility to the opposition. We know your civility. Your BJP MLA in Meghalaya was bloody running a brothel.
Okay, let's focus on the debate. We have last 5 to 6 minutes. This is not the Parliament. This is not the Parliament. We won't suspend you, but we will hear you out calmly, one after another. Please. Mr. Varshney, we will hear you out. We will not suspend you, sir. Sir, we don't have the powers to suspend you, sir. 1 minute. Let's give each of the panelists enough time before we end the debate.
Allow the demagogy, Niranjan, at least. Demagogy cannot be permitted in front of the literate opposition.
Yes. So let Gaurav. Okay, sir, why don't you? Sir, give him 30 seconds. Sir, give him 30 seconds. Sir, give him 30 seconds and then you respond to it. I'll give you time to respond.
Cases have been removed.
Okay, sir, let him. Sir, let him respond 30 seconds and then you respond, okay? Okay, Gaurav Bhatia is responding. Yeah, Gaurav.
BJP MLA in Meghalaya is running a brothel.
He has been arrested. Gaurav Bhatia, go ahead.
You know, is this the way we will discuss issues? Please. Thank you. So, first of all, I think it is the Samajwadi Party that indulges in propaganda. Being a responsible spokesperson of the responsible Bharatiya Janata Party, I have in my hand the data I gave, it's CMIE data. Samajwadi Party spokesperson does not believe in data. He comes here with no facts, but only whataboutery. And the numbers that I gave about unemployment are correct. Second, who has the confidence, of the people? Narendra Modi ji, Yogi Adityanath ji, they enjoy the blessings of the people. Just 3 months back, Samajwadi Party lost the elections. What does it show? They are living in a dreamland, not the Bharatiya Janata Party. And third, Samajwadi Party should also know about their leaders' performance in the parliament. This is for the viewers. You want important issues to be discussed, but this is the report card from the official website. Number of debates that Akhilesh Yadav participated in. As an MP, 4. The national average is 24.4. State average 30.2. This is his performance. Number of questions asked, 0 by Akhilesh Yadav. The national average is 77. And I've already given his attendance, which is around 34%. So first of all, tell Mr. Akhilesh Yadav to be present inside the parliament. And as for the Prime Minister, let me again say this. Prime Minister has always very constructively participated in the debate in the parliament. And it is the opposition which is seen shouting slogans even while the Prime Minister is addressing the House. This is your decorum.
Really? Wow.
But if you think this will be tolerated, it will not be tolerated.
Okay, Saket is responding to you. Okay, Saket, I'll give you 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Let me point out how the BJP selectively tells things. They're talking about Mr. Akhilesh Yadav and other people's attendance. But what the BJP spokesperson will not tell you is that the ministers and the Prime Minister by rule are not required to mark their attendance. If they were required to mark their attendance, we would know what their attendance is. Point
so
number
I said
two,
that in the first statement. I think you didn't hear that.
Do not interrupt.
My first point in the debate was that.
How you're lying to the people. He says, Mr.
So
Modi
I am
Mr.
also
Yogi
telling you, probably you were sleeping then. Or were you with Partha Chatterjee?
1 minute, Mr. Bhatia.
Okay, no.
He says Mr. Modi and Mr. Yogi enjoy the confidence of the people. Let me point out, Mamata Banerjee also enjoys the confidence of the people. Your party got kicked in West Bengal, humiliated in the street.
Partha Chatterjee
don't tell us the confidence or not.
You want to loot West Bengal.
Okay, Kovai wants to come in.
He's talking about
no, have you taken action against Partha Chatterjee?
1 minute, let me finish.
Is this the first time?
He had the Prime Minister. We're talking about the decency of the Prime Minister.
No, Dola said manhandle.
Okay, we've discussed Dola Sen already. 1 minute. We've discussed Dola Sen. I think we're going back. We're repeating. Sir. Let's look forward. Let's look forward. 1 minute. We've discussed Dola Sen already. Let me go back. Let me bring in Mr. Shanmugam. Mr. Shanmugam is a suspended parliamentarian of the Rajya Sabha from the DMK. He's on the debate. I saw him raising his hand. Mr. Shanmugam. Yes. Who are you responding to, sir?
Yes, sir. The main point is the government afraid to discussion on price rise in the House. Number two, government is afraid that it would be exposed about its failure to yet control the prices. Government hiding behind the excuses of the finance minister is not well. It is a collective responsibility of the government and other concerned minister.
Are you saying
concerned
that
like the petroleum minister, commerce minister, and sir, it is a collective responsibility that the petroleum minister is there and the commerce minister is there and the other minister and the consumer affairs minister is also there. Why don't they come and join with that?
Kovai, 30 seconds. Kovai is responding to you, sir. Your AIDMK is responding to you, sir.
No, he will not be able to answer the allegations I placed. They promised 100 rupees for the cylinders. When is it coming? Is the fuel prices being dropped in proportion with the price hike? When it is going to happen? The Chief Finance Minister was present in the GST Council. He paints a different picture here. What is the state proportion with respect to the taxes and the rebates? They will not have an answer. But the question here is, whenever they raise an issue, is it on par with the global standard? Is it the first time inflation going to hit the second digit mark? Not. It has already been done earlier. So whenever they raise an issue, it is not in unison. That's why I pointed out the discrepancy in the state. Their entire action is to save dynasty, the family members of the dynasty. DMK Congress wants to save the dynasty and the family members of the dynasty. It is not with the welfare of the people in mind.
SP is responding.
The welfare of the people
okay, I'm giving SP 30 seconds to respond. Ghanshyam.
Well, I will
this is not
say
the Tamil Nadu Assembly.
Sir,
I will simply say that even in this debate, if you see, even in this debate, if you see, the Honourable Member of Parliament, Mr. Shanmugam, is one of the calmest voice communicating. One of the calmest voice communicating throughout the debate. And if this government decides to suspend a member of Parliament of his stature and his calmness, then that tells that how scared this government is. That they cannot even handle somebody who's been patient throughout this debate to listen to everyone and then communicate. This is the nature of BJP, that they are scared of anybody who even with calmly is going to raise their voice and say, you push the country towards unemployment, you push the country towards price rise.
I'm getting Pratik, 2.5 lakhs as confessed by, I think it was Pawan Bansal, if I'm not wrong. Pawan Bansal had said it takes 2.5 lakh rupees.
That is there in the NDTV report as well.
Yeah, 2.5 lakhs they said it takes to run the parliament one day. Nearly. Yeah, okay, go make a point, Pratik.
Taxpayers' money.
See, yes. The whole point is that crores of taxpayer money is being used to run a parliament for a single day. And the whole legislative intent should be to do a constructive business in that. When all the organs of like the government, the judiciary is working round the clock, then parliament should function. And now the opposition should not create such kind of precedents.
I'll give TRS 30 seconds to respond, Pratik. I'll end the debate after that.
Let the government make it more productive by answering the opposition questions. Okay, they can come forward. They should not run away from their responsibility. Just by answering the opposition, they can make it more productive. Rather, you are worried about the productivity. That can happen any which way. And any which way Nirmala Sitharaman is going to say this is act of God. So the Prime Minister can come or any junior minister can come, because in last 8 years, there were many important bills which were tabled in the parliament by the junior ministers. Why are you scared now? I am demanding it should not be done. The government is showing its weakest side. Let them come forward. Let's all make it more productive. It will be more productive when you address the common man issue. And this price rise of necessary food items is the common man's issue. Let's make it more productive.
Yeah. See, this fantastic debate, Abhishek. Nobody got suspended. All parties spoke equal time. Hopefully, that's how the rest of the session is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ravula Sridhar Reddy, Dinesh Varshne, Gaurav Bhatia, Kovai Satyam, Pratik Som, Saket Gokhale, and Ghanshyam Tiwari, of course, Honorable M. Shanmugam. Thank you so much for joining us. Ultimately, viewers, it's not about crores lost to pandemonium, not about one issue here and another there. To be honest, it's not even about bad optics, as we might have got used to it over the years in our legislative bodies. Viewers, it's about the collective engineering of India's future that happens in those hallowed walls of Parliament. It is hoped that the opposition and the Treasury benches come together and salvage the rest of the session in the 75th year of India's independence. Thanks for watching.
Shravan is back on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. An explosive cash scam diary in the Bengal cash scam case recovered from alleged Partha Chatterjee aide Arpita Mukherjee. The story is getting very interesting, and Republic right on top. We've investigated a school link that is now emerging. More names being summoned. Story's getting bigger, and Republic is right on top, debating that at 10 p.m. with Shravan breaking the story.